Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Well, hello everybody. It's Bill. We're having a little open mic on Friday afternoon. I just got off of work. Had to go wash, clean up, get me a little bit of go-go juice made. Largo will be with us shortly. I think he's right here. Hey, Largo, what's going on, man?
Another fun day in the universe. I'm doing a lot better.
That's good, man. I was kind of worried about you there for a little while there, my friend.
Well, you know how it is between in-laws, outlaws, and folks you run into shopping. You pick up all kinds of things you don't mean to, including whatever flu bugs going around.
Yeah. And looks like we got a few people here with us. Ian Sweeney says, aloha from nowhere near Hawaii.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's a good place to be, Hawaii. Somebody was in Singapore, a friend of mine. I don't know what the hell he was doing in Singapore. I think it was a fellow by the name of Amar that I know that's out of Memphis. Bjorn Jorgensen comes in with some shambolics for everybody. And Wilhelm Toy and Hobby saying hi to everybody. Wilhelm may join us shortly. I think he's on his way home from work, and he's got to go by the store and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, it'd be good. I noticed he found a little sneak peek of some merchandise coming out for the next DC Flash movie.
Yeah, I saw that. And you know what the sad thing about that is all that merchandise that Spin Masters made, and now they've got to put it out on the shelf, and the movie's been pushed back for another year.
Yeah, movie tie-ins, that always seems to be the case where the toys will come out, and sometimes they'll even spoil things because they'll have characters that you don't know are coming.
Yeah, well, no toy company wants to be faced with what happened in the summer of 1977 and what happened there that Christmas when a little movie that you may have heard of called Star Wars came out and blew the socks off of everybody. And of course, back in those days, toys tie-in with movies was not a thing. It really wasn't, and no toy company really wanted to touch that except Kenner. But by the time all of that got ready, there was no toys ready for Christmas, no action figures. So basically had to give everybody an IOU with the early bird package. And the toy companies now want to be ahead of the movie. They want to have the idea is for the toys to be on the shelf while people are going to the movie so they can come out of the movie theater and go down to Walmart and buy some toys afterwards. But it doesn't ever seem to work out that way. No. It seems like the toys hit the shelf months and months ahead of the movie. And like you said, there'll be spoilers for the movie in the toys.
Absolutely. Well, too, they're finding, especially with things like Marvel Legends, when they're designing the toys, they're working off of concept art. So what they design may not be what is in the final cut of the movie. So we've seen a couple of examples where they've produced a figure that doesn't look quite like what you expect because they're working off of early samples.
A figure of a character that's not even in the damn movie because that scene got cut. Yeah, it's kind of like, do you remember pocketbooks? I used to get pocketbooks all the time when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. There was always a movie novelization that would come out, And Alan Dean Foster used to write the majority of those things, and he was a pretty good hack writer at the time. And you'd get the little pocket book, and you'd read it, and then there'd be whole scenes in there that were never in the movie, and lots of background information that you never got out of the movie that you're like, wow, I wish this had been in the movie. Well, they actually worked off of a script that might have been rewritten 2 or 3 times before it actually got on the screen. So,
yeah, I often find the novelizations tend to be a little bit better because, you can do things in a novel you just can't do in a 2-hour film.
And now those empty boxes from 77 cost more than many of the figures. Well, that's about true just about anything. As a matter of fact, I was looking around for replacement pieces for my Snake Mountain that I got here recently, and I just out of curiosity, I noticed that that an unopened box of Snake Mountain costs almost $2,000, which I think is ridiculous. An open box, but a complete set in an open box is somewhere around 900 to 1,000, which I still think is ridiculous. So I thought, let's see what somebody would want for the box, and there was somebody that wanted the box for $500. Well, you know what? I got just one thing for them. Fuck you! I'm not paying $500 for a freaking box.
Well, that's what old Grindhead refers to as the nostalgia tax.
Yeah, it is.
Tax your memories. Mm-hmm. But, there's a lot of stuff. I was watching Clobbering Times last night, and they were talking about something that they'd come across that's on Big Bad Toy Store. You remember that show, The Prisoner?
Yeah, I do.
They're coming out with some action figures of that. It's like, now I love the show, but do I really need an action figure? No,
I'm not interested really in action figures from the Prisoner. The Prisoner is something that I would buy a DVD of and sit and watch, but it's not something I would want to set on my shelf and display. But and I'll throw this out here before I continue. I've got a pinned comment up there at the top, guys, that's got the StreamYard link in it. If any of you guys want to hop in, feel free. I'll let you in. It's an open mic night. We're just talking about anything we want to. And Ian says, I say, what version of The Prisoner? I would assume the original television show.
That is correct. With what was the Patrick
McGowan?
Yes. So they've actually, if you go over to Big Bad Toy Store, they're actually advertising some pre-sale items there, and some of them look to be based directly on costumes that they wore in particular episodes of The Prisoner. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, but it's like 5 POA. It's just something if you want a keepsake. But I'm like you, Bill. I'd rather just have the DVD or Blu-ray of the show. That's more than enough.
That to me, now, as much as I like The Prisoner, don't get me wrong, but action figures of The Prisoner rank right up there with action figures of the Golden Girls. Why?
Yeah, I mean, some things. I guess you could call it an inaction figure because they're,
Speaking of action figures, as we all well know, and I think that they're out now and they're starting to ship. They made action figures based upon the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon show that we all remember from when we was a kid. Hank the Ranger and
Presto was the magician.
But kid, the action figures, they made the action figures. They didn't make them of all of them yet. Anyway.
Right. They've done the little
Ranger, the
barbarian, which was the little kid, and the acrobat,
Bobby the barbarian, the acrobat, and I think Uni the unicorn's coming with Bobby. All right. So I've heard, and I've actually seen a couple of pictures floating around from Pixel Dan. Pixel Dan got his Hank the Ranger in, and out of the package, his hand broke off immediately.
Quality control,
So now it gets worse. Pixel Dan ordered another one, and when it came in, the same damn thing happened even after he had applied heat to it.
Wow.
So
and this is not a rinky-dink company. They're supposed to be putting out some quality stuff.
That's not a good thing when your figures come broke like that. I mean that's NECA quality right there. Shit.
Yeah, and, it's not cool.
Jordan Jorgensen says, "What is the prisoner?" Well, I'll let you handle that, Largo, for our uninitiated friend here.
Well, back in the early 70s, The Prisoner
Yeah,
was that on ITV or BBC? I think it was ITV.
ITV.
It was a
Yeah,
British
it was a British show.
it, it was a British sci-fi political drama about a special agent who had been captured and placed into this unique village where they were trying to uh, basically deprogram or control his mind. And so they issued him a number, and he made the proclamation, "I am not a number, I am a free man." And he fought the system from the inside. So it was kind of a unique cerebral idea. I liked it a lot. It's one of those things where I don't think you could really remake it. It was very particular to the Cold War era, but it's definitely worth a watch. You could probably find at least some clips on YouTube, and I believe it's available on DVD.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, Largo. Now I seem to recollect, and this would have been what, late '80s, early '90s, probably more like early '90s.
Mm.
A comic book company, and I want to say DC, I think, came out with.
Yep, 1967. Ian remembers.
Yeah, but DC Comics came out with a prestige format series, graphic novel series, Prisoner.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. I think it was under the
Laser
Vertigo
Pants,
title.
Laser Pants is in the house. Hey, Mr. Laser
Hey,
Pants,
Ryan.
good to see you. That's from 3POA, if I'm not mistaken. Good to see you. Glad you hopped in the
That is
stream here.
correct.
It says, seems like Hasbro quality control has gotten way worse lately. I wonder if it's because they have been moving production out of China to new factories in Vietnam and other Southeast Asian countries. Possibly, but it's still no excuse.
Yeah. Indonesia, I know, is kind of popular right now, but yeah, it's a tough one. By the way, Ryan just did a great.
They did a remake with Jim Caviezel. I don't remember that. Sounds like
must not been very
awful. Good. Yeah, sounds awful.
Some things you just can't remake. You know, they're just not going to be as good as the original. Kind of like with that Tim Burton movie when he tried to remake Planet of the Apes. It fell flat.
And
everybody still wants to
Laser Pants. That was a nice collection tour from last night. I need to watch that. I don't have time to do shit anymore. And when I do have time to do something, I'm ending up on here because I need to keep my channel active, right?
Right.
Speaking of channels, plug yourself, Ryan. Largo. Largo's got a new layer, guys.
I do. But let me just mention on Ryan's, he's a big fan of most of the same kind of 1/12 scale stuff that I collect. He did a little tour of his Marvel Legends side of his Pants Palace, you know, the laser layer or whatever you want to call it. Great collection, great setup. If you're looking for some ideas on how to set up your collection and put it really nice, Ryan has a great video over there on 3POA that you should check out.
Okay.
Definitely inspirational. For me, I've had quite a few people that have asked where to find me. Normally, I'm haunting Instagram. I've got some toy photography there, but I did create a YouTube. Right now, it's just got some shorts on it and some playlists, and it's called Largo's Lair. And I believe you can find it if you go to Largo's Lair, one word, 3949. I'll see if I can pull up that link here. But it's just kind of a placeholder right now. The idea is just to have a place to people if they want to see a little bit of toy photography and to promote what we're doing here with Weird Fantastic.
Right now, though, lots of cool shorts that you've put up over there.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm playing right now. I'm just exploring the medium, how it works, how to take the toy photography that I'm already doing and kind of jazz it up a little to fit that shorts venue.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Laser Pants. Both of us love you.
Oh,
love your channel. Yeah, we don't mind plugging you. Matter of fact, Laser, if you want to hit that link up there that I've got pinned and come on in and have a chat with us. It's open mic night. You can chat about anything you want.
Yep. But we're just kind of hanging out tonight.
Kind of hanging out and chilling. What I recently got an order in. I'll cover my address up from Zach Paris here. I don't know if you can see that.
He does
until they-
reproduction stickers
That's
for
correct.
old play sets.
That's correct. And I'm going to open her up real quick and just see what all he sent me in here,
Okay.
because I'm trying to redo my Point Dread playset, and I need the guts that go inside of it. So I ordered it, and unfortunately, I thought that this was going to be all die cut, but it's not. This is part of it right here. I'm going to have to cut that out with dun 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 dun.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun.
Time to do a little surgery. Now that's for
blade.
Snake Mountain, or where is that?
Point Dread.
Point Dread.
Now, I do have some Repro stickers that I bought from him. Those are die cut. I've got the stickers that go on the inside of the Talon Fighter. Now,
oh, cool.
My Talon Fighter's got pretty decent stickers in there already, so I might not have to do that. But I've got them here just in case, like if I want to just clean it up a little bit and then peel those old stickers off and put some music on.
Bjorn found my new YouTube site. I'll pop this in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So this fellow that you're ordering the pictures from, other franchises other than Motu, or what all does he print up?
Anything you can imagine. Ghostbusters, Repro stickers, Motu Repro stickers, cool. Star Wars Repro stickers. I think he does Star Wars, although you can get in trouble for making reproduction of anything Star Wars, because there's some people that don't like that worth a hoot, but they can kiss my booty hole because I don't care.
Yeah, the way I look at it, if you've got an old beat up garage sale special toy and you want to bring it back to life, getting those reproduction stickers can really make that project pop. Yeah, and it was right out of the box. Hey, Melvor, nice to see you.
What's up, the Melvor in the house? Good to see you, Melvor. And Laser Pants, he's not going to get on. He's got to leave out of the house, but taking the kid to the retro arcade. Speaking of retro arcade, our friend Mr. Home Arcade's other channel, CT Jason. I was just looking through there the other day, and over in Allentown, Pennsylvania, they've got a retro arcade that's inside of an old mall, and most of the stores in it are closed down, but the retro arcade is not. And he did a tour of that retro arcade, and it was absolutely fantastic. And our buddy there, Michael Purvis at Manic Plastic Toy Shop, is in. Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. And Zach also
recovering from the holidays.
Yeah, Zach also includes instructions on what to do. The cutouts. He says, cut out the cardboard console, including all the slots. One cut on the outer edges of the slot is enough. Fold along the faint lines using the diagrams as a guide, and he's got diagrams here that you can use, which is good for those of us who can't figure out stuff on our own sometimes. Push the tabs from the slots and pull them through from behind. Well, I'm going to go get a cutting board, and I'm going to start this out. Alrighty. Hey, Trapjaw, what's going on? Good to see you. And while I'm doing that, if you want to talk, Largo, you can. If you want me to play something in my little repertoire, I can do that. But I've got to go find my cutting board. You want to just talk?
Bill, I think it's been a little while since we've seen some of your retro commercials. You got one ready to fire up?
Sure, I got some retro commercials that we can look at real quick. I'll just play a little stream of them here.
All right.
Here we go.
We'll return after these messages.
Here are a few words about Levi's jeans and cords.
Levi's.
The citizens of Toothopolis remain ever watchful for
the cavity creeps.
Crest! We make holes in teeth! Quick! Warn the Crest team! Crest! Cresty's trying to tell us something. The cavity creep! Crest, come on!
Let's give him the brush with Crest's fluoride. Watch treats, see your dentist, and fight the cavity creeps like the Crest team.
Fight cavities with Crest!
Imagine Eternia. Imagine the gate of fangs. Eternia. Batteries not included. Imagine the soaring sky tracks. Figures sold separately. The cavern of justice. Eternia. Imagine the power lift to the control chamber. At last, from the masters of the universe, the world you've always imagined can be yours.
Get yourself ready for a trip through McDonald land. Take along a friend and grab a hold of Ronald's hand. Follow Ronald McDonald through the land of apple pie trees. And don't be surprised if you meet Big Mac and Big Cheese. Shake volcanoes, you'll even find a French fry thatch. Now just turn around and see if you won't find a hamburger patch as you're heading for a McDonald's in McDonald land, a McDonald's in McDonald land, a McDonald's.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection. Hark! Batman being called to stop a dastardly deed new from Kenner's Superpowers Collection. The Batmobile figures with power action sold separately.
Got you, Joker. Don't laugh yet. You missed the war. It's a trap. Activate Batarang. Trouble, Batman? Not my Batmobile. Unleash phase 2.
Is this the end of our heroes in the Batmobile? You decide.
If Monday's sad or Tuesday's sad, make a Saturday.
That's a Sunday.
Wednesday rains or Thursday's gray, make a Saturday.
Looks like a Sunday.
Instead of half a banana and a pineapple ring, add yogurt creamy smooth. Pop a grape on top and that's a Saturday for you. Make a weekend treat any day of the week. Make a Saturday.
Now that's a Saturday.
Well, that McDonald land one's a blast from the past. I forgot about some of those trippy, skippy commercials from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I'm going to try to set up my cam here so that maybe I can, cancel that. Don't do that. Yeah, I want to try to set up where y'all can watch me do this thing here. So I had to go get my cutting board. There it is. All right, let's see if we can do this.
Okay. See if you can get your toy cam up and running today. There it is.
There is the toy cam, but that's not what's on my screen here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get it back up going again.
Yep, After Dark. Good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are.
Hey, what's going on, Gap After Dark? Glad to see you come in the house here. Let's give that old cam a reboot here.
Trapjaw saying he misses his old cords. I'm assuming he's talking about the old Levi corduroys from back.
Yeah, Levi cords, man. Yeah, I love those old Levi's commercials with the animation.
Those were fun.
There was actually almost a running storyline in those if you watched them all in order. over the years.
Maniac Plastic Toy Shop has a question, Bill. He wants to see if he can join us. He doesn't have a StreamYard. Does he have to have a StreamYard account to jump in?
No, you don't have to have a StreamYard account at all. Open your web browser up, Michael, and put the link that I have up there in the pinned comment into your browser, and just follow the instructions that you get on the screen, and we'll see if we can't get you on the show. And Largo, if you can help him while I'm trying to do what I'm doing here.
You bet. If he pops in here, I'll go ahead and bring him on in the stream.
All right. And let me see if I can restart my iRun webcam here. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here.
While you're tinkering with that, I'll show off one of my Christmas presents to myself. If I can get this to pop up. Oh,
cool.
So I can get the other one to go. Let's see.
Back over here. I'm going to put myself back on the screen while I'm trying to get this camera going. It's not wanting to cooperate.
Right. Well, I saw a set from Gridiron Studios that's kind of a like a sniper setup, and put that on one of my older Valaverse guys.
Mm-hmm.
The quality's okay. It's a little spendy for what it is. Unfortunately, these are 3D printed, so the plastic is going to be a little bit more flexible than a factory-made cast piece, like what we get from Mark II Designs or from Valaverse. But it's not a bad sculpt. The helmet is also a unique design that they did. And, for something different, it's not bad. But I think I'll probably just stick with my Valaverse weapons for the most part, just because they're a little bit more rigid plastic. But something to try. Always looking to see what's out there and what might be good for doing customs.
Oh, this is not working out as well as I had hoped. I've done this before, and I can't.
Well, technical difficulties. Here's our buddy Mike. Good afternoon or evening.
Hey, what's going on, Michael Purvis?
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you, man. First time to see your face.
Oh yeah, that sound all right?
Sound fine, man.
Sounds
just
good.
put a little light on you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you need a front
great.
light. You got a front light that you can light up your face a little bit with, and let us see your face a little better, because you got a lot of shadowing going on from the backlight.
Yeah, I just got the overlight.
That'll be fine. Kind of getting used to doing stuff like this. It's good to have you on the show, sir. Tell us a little bit about your Manic Plastic Toy Shop.
Haven't been doing too much. Just selling stuff here and there. Hadn't done really a lot.
What's your main? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just asking where you're located at, if you didn't mind.
Florence, South Carolina.
South Carolina, okay.
Oh yeah,
another Southern boy. We all of us about Southern. Largo is even more Southern than we are in Guatemala, but he's originally from Tennessee.
Yep. Spent quite a few years in North Carolina as well, so we were neighbors there for a while.
Toy Camp still not coming up.
So what kind of toy brands do you particularly sell or collect?
Well, I was trying to sell a little bit of everything, but then pandemic came around and kind of killed all that.
Yeah, it's been tough to find a lot of mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
You got a particular line that's your favorite?
Probably Motu.
Mm-hmm. It is very popular, especially with the Origins and now the Masterverse stuff. They're doing some neat things. I like the Masterverse myself because I collect more of the larger scale. Bill, of course, is an Origins guy.
Right. I'm trying to collect a little bit of everything, but it's hard.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, but it's neat to be able to, revisit some of those you maybe had as a kid or didn't get as a kid, and enjoy what's out there and some of the new variations they're doing.
Right.
Did you get anything good for Christmas?
You see up there, I got all kind of stuff up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. So have you been collecting for a while, or did you just kind of get back into it, or?
I started back, let me think, late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And been collecting a little bit ever since then.
That's awesome. Yeah, I collected back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then I got out of it for a while, sold my collection, and then jumped back into it. You know, when the COOF had everything locked down, there wasn't much else to do. So kind of decided to start up again.
I like the new Superpowers.
Those are nice. We've seen a few of those. And they're not too bad. They're a little taller than the originals, but old Toddy Mac is it's kind of hit or miss. He's done some good ones. That Gimp Batman goofy villain thing, I don't know why he put that in the line, but other than that one, I like what he's doing.
Right.
Rumor has it we might see an Invisible Jet sometime this coming year.
Yeah, I hope we actually see that stuff. I have a horrid suspicion that Walmart may have gone all in on that first couple of waves and may skip out on the second wave.
Yeah, distribution's kind of goofy, especially when they make those exclusive to one store. But our buddy Adam over at Radical Toys did some research, and it looks like Wonder Woman, Deathstroke, the Terminator, and Nightwing will be in the next Superpowers line wave. And the vehicles that have been rumored are the Wonder Woman Invisible Jet and a new Batmobile that'll have the same kind of blue color scheme that the original Superpowers did back in the day when Kenner made it.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw those, and then they look promising, especially that Invisible Jet.
Yeah, something we never got in the original line. That's kind of neat. And it'll be compatible if you have your vintage Kenner collection, or if you're just a new Toddy Mac collector. Either way, you're good to go.
Have you found those figures that are already out there, Michael?
Yeah, I finally got them all. They're like $7 now.
Yeah, they put them on. Well, I noticed that Darkseid, Batman, and Superman were on clearance at Walmart recently, but it didn't look like they had the Flash or the Green Lantern on clearance yet.
Yeah, Gap After Dark found a deal. He says, oh, here it is. Found an original Batcave from 2007 play set. Paid about $5 for it, cleaned it up, and now he's got himself a nice vintage piece for his collection. That's awesome. Always great when we hear somebody finds a find like that and able to bring it back from the mothballs and give it a new life. And what else did he find there? Oh, an old F-14 from a thrift store. Yeah, sometimes those antique stores and thrift stores, you can find some pretty cool deals. Unfortunately, here in Guatemala, there's not quite the collection like we had when I was living in Tennessee, but every once in a while you find something interesting. I'm always interested to see what you guys find when you're out and about doing your scavenger hunts for toys.
Yeah, I haven't been really toy hunting in a long time. The last couple of toy hunts have been Walmart toy hunts, and to me, those really aren't toy hunts. Toy hunts are when you go
it's not as fun as it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, when you go to
Gojitron's in the house. Howdy,
hey,
sir.
Gojitron. Good to see you, man. Gojitron is a good friend of the channel. I don't know if you guys can see.
Hope everybody had a good holiday. Yeah, now is that the original computer console that was in Point Dread that you're recreating there with those stickers?
That's correct. And I bought this from Zach Paris, who is a maker of reproduction stickers and whatnot. And unfortunately, this is not die cut, so I'm having to cut this out by hand with the X-Acto knife here. And I'm trying to do
not the easiest thing to try to do on camera, I imagine.
Oh, No, it's not. And I'm trying to do as much of it on camera as I can so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here.
Right.
And,
Now, Mike, you say you've been collecting for a hot minute. Did you ever get into the Masters of the Universe classics that Mattel was doing for a while?
I got late into the game. I didn't know about them.
Hmm,
So I started off with a few of them, and they were up in price. So I just sold the ones I had.
Yeah, they were interesting. I was collecting the DC Universe classics that Mattel was doing, and I kind of dipped my toe into those Motus at the time. But yeah, with the Matty collector thing they did, it made it really hard to find some of it, so I got pretty frustrated. The Motu Origins and the Masterverse, because it's widely distributed, a lot easier to collect.
I did get
I'm happy with what they're doing.
The Matty Thundercats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
those were pretty
before
cool
they went
too.
down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most folks I've talked to, they prefer those to the what Super 7's been doing. One, just because of the availability at the time, and two, the price. Super 7 is very proud of their stuff, and they've got a premium price on a subpar product, in my opinion. You know, they're using old joint technology. They can't get it to market on time. You know, it's like, come on, guys, tighten up.
And that Thunder Tank is too big.
Whew, yeah, that's about a coffee table by itself. You just put some legs on it and call it good.
I wouldn't have nowhere to put that.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with a lot of stuff with that scale. I love the 1/12 scale, but finding a place to put vehicles and play sets, I mean, it's just too huge. That's why 3 3/4 or 1/18 scale is definitely the sweet spot for doing vehicles and play sets. You know, G.I. Joe and Star Wars had it right. If you're going to do vehicles, that's the scale to do it. But
I don't even know what scale that one is.
I'm guessing it is probably 1/10 scale. I think those figures are about 7-inch. So 1/10 is kind of where that would be. But it's huge. I've seen pictures of it online. And yeah, as much as I like Thundercats, I can't imagine trying to find a place to put something like that. When I do displays, I'm usually looking for pictures that I can print on nice glossy paper or something to do in the background. So if I was going to do a Thundercats display, I'd probably just try to find a nice picture with the Thunder Tank, or a picture of the Eye of Thundera up in the sky or something like that. Just makes it easier for finding shelf space.
That's what I need to do to get some background images.
There's a lot of stuff you can just find Googling around the interwebs, and if you've got a decent printer, you print it off and you're good to go. Makes a nice display and not a whole lot of skull sweat involved in trying to make it work.
Right. Let's see. Been getting into the 90s Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, the older ones, yeah, not the new ones. Yeah.
So you were more of a Mighty Morphin.
Like that.
Yeah.
My future son-in-law, he calls himself LSD, ELSD. Eli, he's into the Thundercats, and he's been on a tour of his collection a couple of times here on the show. But unfortunately, they have gone to West Virginia. They had to go up there to visit some friends of theirs, so he's probably not going to be available for a while. But he's real big into Thundercats. Well, not Thundercats, Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, yep. Too many flavors. It got confusing. I watched a little bit of the Mighty Morphin ones, the originals that were based on some of the Japanese shows that they kind of mashed together and made an American version. And then they went off on all these different tangents, and I couldn't keep up with it. Old Trapjaw 72 is saying he really liked that Motu Classics line. But it's true, the aftermarket on those is too expensive.
Yeah, I didn't get in on it when it came out, and I saw the aftermarket prices kind of like our friend Michael here did, and it's just not feasible for me. But you know what?
Yeah,
I don't care, because now I've got the Motu Origins, which to me is actually better because it's more like my childhood.
Exactly. World Made of Cardboard has joined us. Howdy. Good to see you.
sir.
And our favorite lady, Miss Studio, hanging out.
Good to see you there.
Hope she had a good holiday.
Well, you know, she was sick, and I hope she's feeling a little better.
Yeah, we've all been getting a touch of that flu bug going around, so I'm glad.
So
she's,
Studio
on the
got
mend.
herself a sore throat and an earache over the holiday, and I've been worried about her. So I'm glad to see her come in. Tell us how you're doing in the chat there, honey, so we'll know because we're concerned.
Yep. Gojitron, like me, when he's putting together a display, he likes using the carded figures because that card art is really nice on some of those, and that makes for a good background for putting your loose figures around. Some of those classic card arts, I'm a big fan of like the old Palitoy or early G.I. Joe when it was actually art, when it was drawn art, not computer generated stuff like some of the newer ones. They did some really neat stuff. World Made of Cardboard says of the Megazords, but yeah, it all got a little complicated in their lore. I like the big giant, robots and kaiju from, some of the Japanese shows from back in the day. So I liked that aspect of Power Rangers, but I was a little too old when that came out. I wasn't really into it.
Hang on there. We got somebody trying to get into the chat here, and I think he's using some magic. So let's see if we can't get him in here. Everybody concentrate.
Hello there, Bill.
Yeah, everybody concentrate. Let's see if we can get Eldor to come in.
Just a sec. I'll be there soon. I'm just working up the connection there. I believe you say.
That's the great eye of the universe, folks, that he's using, and we all need to help him concentrate so he can get
Hello
through.
there, all.
There he is.
Eldor.
Hello there, Bill. How
you
today?
Doing there, sir? I'm down here doing a little bit of crafting here. I'm trying to cut out the interior that's going to go inside of my Point Dread.
Did you have a good holiday season there in Eternia, Eldor?
Yes, it all went on without a hitch. So, yes, I had a good celebration there at Castle Grayskull. But I thought I'm a bit busy at the moment, but I wanted to pop on for a few moments and just because tonight it's going to be our New Year celebrations in Eternia.
Nice.
And all the fireworks and what have you. I know there's a bit of a time dilation field in effect, so you'll probably be celebrating your New Year tomorrow, I think.
Okay. So
I'm not sure how it works there or where you are as far as time goes.
What kind of celebrations do you do there in Eternia for New Year's?
Oh, a big giant feast that lines one ear of the market to the other ear. So lots of people come out for their meat and feasts and a bit of a raise in the cup, I believe you say. So thought I would raise my cup to you there, Bill, and Jim Largo there, and your other visitor. You have on the show
Mike.
there.
Mike, have you met Eldor before?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Maybe there's so many names that have passed my paths there. Possibly.
Eldor has a channel here on YouTube where he likes to show off some of the custom stuff that he does. He does a lot of customizing. And
our friend Lax Sivarak has popped in. He says, I'm only free for a few, but stopped to say hello and respect everyone. Same to you, sir. Good to see you around.
Yes, I'm just popping in past myself. So you're quite busy there, Bill, doing a bit of
I'm cutting this out, and everybody's just kind of coming on and talking about the things that they've done. I saw last night where you came on and were showing off your top 12 Motu Origins figures in your collection.
Yeah, sorry that took a bit longer than planned there, Bill. I hope you were able to catch up there later on or whenever.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch. I'm gonna try to watch the restream on that. I ended up having to go to bed. I have to get up very early to go to work here, so I have to. My time, I have to go to bed somewhere around 8:00 usually.
Yes, it conflicts with the times when we're scattered about, and when's the right time to do things and what have you.
And I know the time dilation there for you in Eternia is great because you have to get up very early in the morning or very, very late at night sometimes to be on some of these streams.
Yes. There's a few black holes, shall we say, between Eternia and Earth there. The time dilation.
Yeah. All right.
Lack's getting ready to celebrate the bringing into the new year with some firearms, shooting lots of guns, same as Alaska and Mississippi. Here in Guatemala, they like to do that as well. Somewhere between the fireworks and the handguns popping off for the New Year's, it's an interesting.
How could you tell that's World War III or not? All that noise going on.
Exactly.
Surely not, though. Yes.
Well, on Eternia, does Skeletor come out and spoil things for
Oh
the
no, he
celebration?
usually hides in his castle there, Snake Mountain.
Okay.
Yes, just like your police there on Earth, he keeps old He-Man, and the other masters are rather busy there. Like we wear him out towards the end of the year there, so he rests in Snake Mountain, scheming and getting his plans ready for next year.
All right.
Anyway, we cross that bridge when we come to it.
Susudio's saying she's feeling a little better.
Well, good. I'm glad Susudio is feeling better. We've been worried about you, Susudio.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's that time of year when, people are giving presents and they're giving their flu bugs back and forth. So it's always got to be mindful of that.
Spreading the Christmas
I made the
cheer
mistake.
around.
Exactly. I made the mistake of doing some last minute Christmas shopping myself and ended up catching a flu bug that put me down for a couple days, but I'm feeling better now.
I'm trying to show you guys exactly what I'm doing here because what I'm trying to do is because of the way this is done on glossy paper, I want to make these folds, but I don't want to score the paper because it'll spoil the paper. So I'm trying to make my folds across a straight edge, and so I'm using the edge of my cutting board here to fold the paper over so that it folds over in a nice, neat manner. So I wanted to show you guys how to do that so that you don't spoil your image on the paper and get a good fold on it without getting a whole lot of lines in it. See how
our buddy Zazel's in the house from Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse.
Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. I'm feeling a little better. Always good to see what Zazel's working on the other side of the world there. You guys got anything special planned for New Year's with the Slaughterhouse or any of the combinations, hanging out with the Space Commander or Toy Connections? Seems like everybody's got something jumping off for this for New Year's. A lot of different collaborations of channels doing some year-end reviews or hangouts.
Yes, I
missed a couple days there from being sick, so
I've been jumping on with Ultradamus Toys. They do a bit of a class there on Mythic Legions once a month, so that's been something new for me there.
Eldor, have you been working on any more Motu customs? I know you've been doing a few of those over the last year.
Oh yes, I haven't done much more on my Grislaw Masterverse custom though, because I still need to get the Masterverse Hordak and a spare Jitsu for the feed parts to finish him off. Because as you know, he's still wearing Stinkor's feet at the moment. But my next Masterverse custom will be $1. So I bought a spear, Masterverse 40th He-Man for that. And I pre-ordered.
That'll be neat to see.
Masterverse Zodak and Jitsu for his black belt there to switch the belts around. And for Jitsu, his black feet and boots to switch the boots off.
That's a great thing about these Motu figures is the customization is endless.
Yes.
You can just find all kinds of things.
So
Zazel and Space Commander are going to be going live tomorrow. They're going to be talking about the recent Action Force 40 exhibition, which featured Mr. Bob Breakin, who was instrumental in making Action Man and Action Force. So that'll be neat. Definitely want to tune in for that.
Oh,
always great to see, all that old Palatoy goodness. Inspired a lot of things that came after.
Yeah.
Yes, I just started to dip my toes into the G.I. Joe classified line there. I've only got 3 of those. Pardon me. Mind you, I have Lady J, the number 6 Cobra Commander, and the Snake Eyes movie Storm Shadow. And I just put a pre-order down for.
Now, what's the availability of that stuff for you, Eldor? I know you. It comes to you there in Eternia by way of New Zealand. Is it tough to get a hold of some of those newer figures?
Yes, they're hard to find in the shops. When they are, they're about $40 or $50 or so. Eternia, shall we say? And I was lucky to find Cobra Commander and Lady J on sale. Cobra Commander, he was down to $24. Lady J, she was down to $29 there.
That's not a bad deal.
I bought him off another fellow there, so he was only $30 something. At Serpentor, he was over 200 Australian. But I had a special payment plan there with the afterpay, I believe you call it. It's like your PayPal. Paying for over every fortnight or something. So I got Serpentor there from another place in the far off land of Australia. So he'll be training up
been a tough one to
next
track
year
down.
sometime.
Bill, a World Made of Cardboard has some suggestions for you, as does Tron.
Go ahead.
World Made of Cardboard uses a scoring tool and a straight edge to do his paper model folding. He's kind of an aficionado on that stuff, so that may be something to look at.
As a matter of fact, he is the expert at it, much more so than I am.
For myself, I use the straight edge of my scalpel there, my box cutter knife. I use the blunted end, not the sharp end, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Gojitron's recommending a burnisher, like what you'd find from X-Acto, that has kind of a ballpoint on it. So that might be good for doing your folds.
Yeah.
Studio's going to be heading on, but it's nice to see you.
Good.
Oh, yeah. She's making her some sauerkraut for New Year's.
I was just going to hop on by for a few moments there and see how you're all doing. And, of course, because Bill was on my live there last night with me, so I thought I would support him again and come on his live. But as I say, I'm getting ready for a bit of a barbecue soon, so I have to get all ready to go out for that. But yes, it is. I have to go a bit slowly on the old G.I. Joe collecting because it's a bit expensive there. So on top of collecting Masters of the Universe and all that, and now Mythic Legions, I have to be slow on that line too. But anyway, yes, I thought I'd pop on.
Well, Eldor, we appreciate you stopping by and spending a few minutes with us. Hope you enjoy your celebrations for the New Year's. We're going to let you teleport out and let our buddy Bjorn hop in for a minute.
Oh, of course. Yes. All right.
We'll
see you. World Made of Cardboard here too. Thank you, Eldor. Good to see you, man.
See you later. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Largo, I'm going to let you
He's a
take care of
treat.
bringing those in and out as I'm sitting over here working. I'm curious about
Alrighty.
what way to cardboard. He's coming in to give me some advice, I think.
Yes, sir. He probably is the guy to talk to about trying to do all things cardboard. Let's see if we can
Just
add
about.
Bjorn too. That might be too much for the stream, but we'll give it a shot. Bjorn, you got
can
your
you hear
ears
me?
on, buddy?
I'm good.
Yes, we
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you
I
hear
can hear
me?
you, Bjorn.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Great. Oh, I just wanted to show you what I use for scoring. It's just a
Bring him
little
up.
tool.
Bring him up big screen there, Largo. See if you can bring that up big screen.
And it's like he's NASA
I
mission
will.
control.
Yeah, it's just
There
a
we
little.
go.
Oops, wrong direction. It's just a little
Okay.
tool that has.
It kind of looks like something you'd use for clay sculpting or something.
Yeah, it's literally a scorer. I bought a bunch of them off of Amazon because the one I had earlier broke. The tip popped off.
Mm.
But I'll use my straight edge and put it down and just go right along the line where I need to fold the item, and that's it. And it'll fold. It'll work.
Cool.
Somewhat.
Well, I
Well,
imagine,
I've done a
from
little
trial
bit
and
of
error, you found
Photoshop
some
in my
tools
time.
over the years that work.
Oh yes. I used when as a kid when I would draw the my stuff onto poster paper and things. I'd have my pencil and I'd be drawing it, and at the time I didn't realize the pencil was actually scoring it as I was drawing it. So I was able to fold easily. And then when I started printing out on the computer, realized I got to do something here. This isn't working just right. So then I realized, it's the scoring tool. That's what I needed. So yeah, I don't have many tools. In fact, let's see, I could show you.
Flat nose pliers work pretty good too.
I've got my X-Acto knife.
All
That's
right,
it.
guys, check it out. I think I've about got that done.
All right, that looks good. That looks good.
And of course, I may have to re-go across some of these edges here with the white showing, but or I may just go across that with a black Sharpie because I don't feel like cutting anymore.
Done that.
I'm going to see if that fits inside point grid as soon as I clean up my little mess here.
Was that you dropping something on there?
Not me. I think that was Largo.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was Bjorn.
It was one of the cats knocking something off again.
Oh, okay.
That's what
all
cats
cats
do.
are like that.
Yeah, that's what cats do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't have many tools that I use. I've got a little small pair of scissors so I can get really tiny.
Scissors. Let's see, scissors, X-Acto knife, and that's about it for me. Sometimes I'll do stuff like using a flat edge of a ruler or something like that, or flat edge.
Right.
Table.
You need that. Yeah, I do a 1/4-inch hole punch, and I went and bought, to be able to reach some things, these are tweezers that are used for stamp collectors. Stamp collectors will use them so they don't touch their stamp.
Are those the really pointy ones?
Not super pointy. They are. I mean, they won't stick through your finger if you do it. They're not. They do have a nice point, so I can reach up in something and grab something and twist it around. Some of the models that I've built I like the tab insert type model building. If you have to reach up into something, you need something to reach up in there and get it to work and everything. But yeah, it works. Yeah, I don't have that many tools. and I say that with a Cricut sitting right over here to the side too. I've been trying to get it to do some of the stuff for me. As I've gotten older, I want to just be able to push a button and watch it cut it for me. So yeah, I'm lazy sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But it works. But Yeah, I tried not to. The one thing I wanted to do, the models I've been building, I've been putting on my YouTube channel. For you can download them directly out of the comments. They just click on it; it goes to an Adobe storage site. I don't want to make it where a person has to go buy some special tool or something like that. I'm kind of reminded of my mother when some Saturday mornings when I was trying to watch cartoons, she'd come in and say, "I want to watch my cooking shows," and so she'd turn it on to the public TV channel and watch this cooking show where this lady was making Italian food, and she said one of the episodes she said that this cheese that I'm using in this recipe comes from a special little shop in a villa right outside of Rome, so it's a perfect Italian cheese.
Yeah,
I'm
where are
like,
you gonna find that at here in America?
no, Walmart ain't got that. So all these things I bought from either Wally World or Amazon. So that's it. And I don't want to make it where a person has to go buy some special fancy tool to be able to build something.
Well, you're
That
proof that you don't need fancy tools to do that.
sometimes, I as I say that, I just I bought for Christmas. We kind of overspent this year. Anyway, I got a item off of eBay, a transformer, one of my favorites. He was Six Shot. It was a reissue of him, and I'm not really happy with it because I guess it's an old mold or something because he doesn't really line up as I remember the original toy lining up. So I need to do some research before I rate this guy to see if he's got legitimate product or not. But anyway, I did get Quick Switch though. Remember him? The original Generation 1 Quick Switch. I was a different kid as growing up. I played with my own ideas with them and everything. And so I had to build little worlds and stuff for them to travel to. Like for mine with Six Shot and Quick Switch as a kid, I was probably a teenager at the time. I was in '87, I think. Yeah, I was in my teens and still played with my toys. Still do, sorry. And
Toys are meant to be played with.
yes, agreed. And so I came up with this thing of the Cybertronian wars were over. The only two survivors were Quick Switch and Six Shot. They couldn't stand each other, but they were traveling around the universe trying to find other Transformers that may have survived. And so they would visit like Air Raiders planet one day or Visionaries. Oh, I didn't have very many vision. I didn't have. I think I had just one thing, and I had plans for them to visit Eternia and all this kind of stuff. But it was I had to build the worlds for them mostly. So different scale figures. As I didn't really care. It just worked. I just put them together and said,
some
whatever.
people didn't like mixing the different groups, and other people just throw everything in there. Creating your own head canon, as they call it. That's a sign of a great imagination. You come up with some fun stuff, sometimes a lot better than what the toy manufacturers come up with.
It's either that or insanity, one of the two. So let's just kind of go with that.
Genius and insanity are kind of bedfellows, I think. So
I would have to agree on that one. I've seen some pretty insane smart people. So yeah,
I think we're all a little bit insane here.
Oh yeah.
Well.
It actually comes in handy.
Yeah, especially when the world goes a little sideways, it helps you cope.
Yeah, I saw, I think it was a T-shirt or something that I saw that said, "I don't suffer from insanity. I enjoy every minute of it." So that pretty worked. But yeah, I'm going to show this, and so none of you steal my idea here.
Alrighty.
This is what I've been working on for years. I think I've shown this before on a retro blasting thing, but it is a posable little robot made out of cardstock.
Did you design that yourself?
I designed it myself. Correct.
Does it have a name?
Now, what do you use? What do you use to pin the articulation?
It is it has a long roll of cardstock through it.
Oh,
using the
okay.
1/4-inch hole, so it just holds
That's-
together. They, I have just a bunch of them. They don't really have a name. I've been working on them for years. I've got another version here that is prototype. He's a little thinner and a little lankier, and
I like that one.
and I've got a. This is, like I said, this is prototype. I've got some work I've got to do with it, but he can actually fold over.
Wow.
And I can
cool.
make him do other
can
things
launch
later
there and
on. So, and in my head, I've already sat down and figured out how to get them to change into 6 different forms, but we'll get there eventually.
Well, that is some pretty ingenuitive stuff there. I mean, this is all, you just kind of get an idea in your head and then you tinker with it to make it work.
Correct. Right now, I'm been working these past. I have this week off. I've been playing on my computer with Rhino 3D. I like that little program for paper model stuff because it has an unfold command, unroll. You can create your 3D solid and tell it where you want to disconnect edges, and then say unroll, and it does it. It puts it as a flat thing. So I don't
Look,
have
Gojitron and Zazel had the same idea at the same time. Card bots.
card bots.
That's cool.
I think I've come up
That's
with
catchy.
yeah, I've come up with stuff like that. I've come up with other names too, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to call them, what I'm going to do with them. Got different things that they will do and can do, and play sets and stuff, and like.
Well, I
what
know
I've been
you're a
working
big fan of the older the books that used to come out with the paper action figures that you could cut out. Have you ever considered making a book of your own?
What I'm planning to do is actually one day have a website where people can go and just download my models and do either a Patreon or something like that to kind of put it on the side type deal.
Mhm.
One of the things that the internet has done, it's made paper model building almost obsolete. You know, you've got most of the kits that you find now for paper model building are in boxes. They're not a book anymore because, well, for lack of a better word, I can actually go into a store with this, my little phone, and take a picture of it as a PDF, and it will flatten it out and everything, and walk out, and I've got the whole thing on my phone. Well, that's kind of sort of illegal, but just kind of sort of a little bit.
Kind of sort of.
But then,
It's only illegal if you get caught.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're like me, nobody else will get caught. But if I did it, I get caught.
That's the way I have trouble I have with driving to work now. Where I used to work, it'd take 10 minutes to get to work. Now it's about half an hour in the morning, or half an hour to 45 minutes. Coming home, it's over an hour. That's where I'm on when Grindhead Jim has his live stream from 5. I'm just listening in as I'm going along, sitting there in traffic. And
well, at least you got something good for your drive time to listen to.
Right. And as I'm driving along, I'm seeing these people total left lane, and they say, "Oh, this is my exit," and they just cross all 5 lanes of traffic, just zip across. If I did that, I would wreck everything, fall, but they make it all the way across and everything.
You know,
the scariest.
Good Lord, he looks out for fools and drunks.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
The scariest one was when an 18 wheeler did it. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" He saw his exit and he took it. But, oh well.
Yeah, here in my neck of the woods, they have these little taxis they call tuk-tuks. They're 3-wheeled. It's kind of like a hybrid between a cab and a motorcycle. And they just kind of make up their own rules, make up their own lane, kind of zigzag, and it makes driving a challenge. It is a combat sport here.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Sounds like it.
But as far as paper craft goes, Gojitron is mentioning he checked out a few things, models from Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. I know he has some things on his blog.
Yeah.
And Star Days 80. And I'm not familiar. What is WMOC?
Probably World Made of Cardboard.
World Made of Cardboard. I've just never seen it as an acronym. Now I know.
Yeah, I've seen Star Days on Instagram and stuff. He has some pretty neat things.
Yep.
It's the one thing about paper model building is it takes time. You've really got to put in the time to do it. This little robot, I can actually print it out, and in about an hour, I'm done. I've cut it out and put it together. But that is working hard, no breaks, and knowing how it assembles and everything in my head, just knowing how it's going to go. When I try to build other models, it could take a little longer. Like some of these paper model things, I scan those in. I scan the book in and then print it out and cut it out, and then look at the instructions and try to fold it up and everything. It can take a long time. It takes about a month before I'm able to put a video out reviewing the book. So everybody else has hundreds of videos and stuff, and I've only got 12 for a year's worth of work so far.
Wow. Our buddy OBS has come in. Nice to see you. I am feeling a little better. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. And as Wilhelm knows from trying papercraft, it is challenging, but the results are definitely worth the effort.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think I've got my.
I've seen some really neat
red
pieces from
here.
Japan.
I think it looks
okay.
good, Bill.
Take a look at that.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Let's pop that up here.
I think that's going to be what it's going to be, guys. I'm not going to get any better than that.
You need to look at mine.
Huh?
You need to look at mine. I've got one.
Sure. If you want to show it off, that'd be great. I think I'm about done. I think that's going to be it for me right there.
The original Point Dread had all that in its in the toy.
It did, and of course it was a paper punch out. You punched it out, and it already pre-scored and all that. But Zach Paris, he just printed it out on a sheet, and I had to cut it myself. So it took me a minute to do it, and I scored this. I scored across here to help that, so you can see the score line. I'm probably going to cover that up with black magic marker.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got replacement stickers here for the Talon Fighter, but I was looking at my Talon Fighter here, and the stickers on it look fine. I don't think I want to replace those stickers.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, the interior stickers are a little worn, like they've been played with, but I think that gives the model a little charm. So I'm kind of reluctant to take those stickers off, even though I've got a nice fine replacement sticker sheet here if I ever want to.
Now, if you need any more, Bill, I've got them all.
Looking in that
okay, thanks,
those
Mark.
stickers, did Eternia have standard or metric wrenches and stuff there?
I think they had their own.
You think they had their own?
I don't think these match up with anything real world. I do notice that on Eternia they do have the red cross for the first aid kit.
Yeah, that was interesting. Got a fire extinguisher and everything. Wow.
Yeah, nice. Kind of reminds me of the stickers and stuff that came inside the old Mego Batcopter. Do you remember that big thing?
I never had it.
I do.
I had one. It had all kinds of little gear in it. And then there was the mobile Bat Lab, which was basically a VW van that had Batman stickers all over it.
Yep. Yeah, those old Mego vehicles, they were kind of interesting for the 8-inch scale. They were primitive, but back in the day, that's what we had.
And I don't know if you guys knew it, but I bought a vintage battle ram the other day, and now I've got it all stickered out. So the stickers on it.
That looks great.
So yeah, I'm getting on down there, and I was telling a lot of guys that were watching my show here recently. I've about gotten to the point where if they actually do release a Snake Mountain and a Point Dread, I probably won't even bother getting it because I've already got these vintage ones and they're within scale with the figures I've got. So I'm not the FOMO won't get me this time.
Right. Well, Bill, I'm going to let you guys talk for a little bit. I'm going to pop out and grab another cup of coffee. We're going to go on for a little bit.
Let me pull myself up full cam here and just bring everybody in together. So, World Made of Cardboard, my friend. Have you put up anything new there on your site there? I know you have a YouTube channel. You have a web page yet?
Not yet. Working toward that. I'm hoping to do something this year with that, but we'll just have to see how far I get with it.
Well, may I make a suggestion, sir?
Yes.
If all you're doing is putting up PDF files and possibly JPEGs or something of stuff that people can print out to do cardboard, and you don't have a lot of money to spend, and you know just a little bit of HTML, there's a free site called NeoCities that is the modern day version of old GeoCities.
Oh.
It doesn't cost a thing in the world, and you get almost a gigabyte of space on there for free.
Wow, that's not bad. My files aren't that big, so yeah.
They're not. I mean, they're really not. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I did a couple of years ago was I sort of recreated the old GeoCities site from back in the 1990s on the free space that I had available there. All I did was go over to the Internet Archive and just each page by page, I just recreated those pages and uploaded them up there and set them to work. And then I did just a little tweak on there. I changed all the GeoCities logos to NeoCities logos, kind of like that. And the site was not huge at all. It was just I haven't used up any of the space. So if you want a free place to play to create a site, that NeoCities.org, I think it's NeoCities.org. Yeah.
All right, I'll write that down.
Matter of
Get my
fact,
pen out of my
Over
pocket.
saying he'd like to see a Castle Grayskull size Point Dread playset that opens up. That'd be a nice addition to Origins.
Well, I figure if Origins does a point, it'd be more along the lines of what was done with Classics Point Dread, and it would probably scale well with the Castle Grayskull Origins Castle. Now, I have seen people, and it's been proven online, I haven't tried it with mine, who have actually taken the upper part of Point Dread and actually attached it to the Origins Castle Grayskull, and it does fit.
I've seen that.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I'm more of a Masterverse guy, I've been looking at the Classics Point Dread, trying to price one on the third-party market. They're a little spendy, but I think it might fit those larger scale figures. And that one was a two-seater. I think the original was a one-seater for the original line.
Yeah, it is a one-seater. Is yours?
You got talking about point the Talon Fighter. The Talon Fighter is a two-seater, guys.
Is it?
Yep, it's got a place for He-Man in the front and Man-at-Arms in the back, or T-Lar or anybody else. So it is a two-seater.
Okay. Bjorn, I see some legs there. What you working on, buddy?
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I just took this out of the package, and the leg is put on backwards. All I have to do is twist it. But...
Oh, wow.
What figure is that, Bjorn?
Ugh.
Oh, Leia.
Indoor Leia.
I didn't pick up any of the ones from the Return of the Jedi, but I did pick up this comic book version. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. This is the one from a Marvel comic book they did. And the likeness
Are you going to do that
good.
same thing that me and Badger did?
What is it that you and Badger did?
Oh, do the custom one?
Well, I'll have to take a look. I don't know. I just wanted this particular figure because I like the look from the comic book, and I think she'll do well with that Luke Skywalker in the yellow jacket he had at the Yavin ceremony, and has been used in some of the Marvel comics in between New Hope and Empire when he was not quite a Jedi yet.
Have you read any of the newer comics?
Not recently.
I could send you a few pictures. I'm pretty sure that she wears that with him.
Okay.
And
yeah.
that yellow outfit a few times.
That would be cool. I've checked that out. I don't do a lot of Black Series. I mostly stick to the things that were either familiar from the stories that came out around the time of the original trilogy, or things like that. I'm not much of a prequel or any other fan.
I buy the ones that look cool, and Badger inspired me to get some for customs. So
cool.
Where'd it go?
This is a nice figure.
I've got a whole lot going on over here. I don't know if you guys can hear or see me or not.
You're paused on my screen.
And
Yeah,
I'm posting
same
a
here.
link to a NeoCities page that I created just for fun.
Okay.
And it's going to take a minute. And
Yeah, I think we
let
might
you guys see this.
have a
This is
few
my
too
NeoCities
doing, Bill. It might
website,
be
my
slowing us
personal
down.
website on there.
I'll pop out because I got to deal with Grandpa. So yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Bjorn. It's good to see you, buddy.
I've seen you.
Is that something you created,
I
Bill?
think 5 is about our limit.
All right. Can
Looks
you
like
guys hear or see me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes, I can,
Now, what
I
I
can hear you.
Can you see the website that I've pulled up there?
you. I can.
Yes.
What I've tried
you
to
were-
do is I've tried to recreate a monitor.
Running Netscape.
Here we go. There we go. Am I back? Too much. 5x5 says Warren Jorgensen, but I think I'm slowed down. Can you guys hear or see me?
Yeah.
Can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What I've tried to recreate is a monitor out of it. And that web browser actually works.
Wow. It looks pretty neat. It looks like the old web pages from the 90s that I remember.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And what's funny about it is the actual Netscape browser works to a certain extent.
Hmm.
So if I were to go to some of these bookmarks, they work. Some of these file stuff, some of that stuff works. If I were to click on the Netscape logo, it would take me to the old Netscape homepage.
Wow.
If it'll do it. But yeah, it's kind of
So you have some
neat.
some
There you go.
papercraft and stuff there. Is that connected to your blog there, Bill, or what?
Some of that is connected to my blog. A lot of this is just funsies that I do over there. But I do a little bit of file hosting over there, which back in the old GeoCities days, if you I'm gonna stop sharing this now because I think it's taking up a whole lot of my computing ability here. But if you remember back in the old
Gap
GeoCities
After
days,
Dark saying that you're like a badly dubbed movie with your voice and your picture not quite synced because of the
my mouth
lag.
isn't moving right with my voice. Yeah, it's because I'm taxing my computer to its limit. But if you guys ever get a chance, you can go over and look at that thing. It actually, like I said, the browser works. It's just a combination of JavaScript and HTML. But what I was telling you, I do a little bit of file hosting over there, which back in the old GeoCities days was a no naughty thing. They didn't want you doing that, but NeoCities doesn't care.
So that may be something I can look into there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to post some PDF files or some JPEGs or something that people can print out, just a quick down and dirty HTML page with some links on it to those files, and upload those files in there, and boom, you're cooking with gas, man.
That probably worked pretty well. Yeah. I'll have to start out with something really cheap, you know. So,
well, free is about as cheap as you get.
yeah, I can't get much cheaper than that. So that would work.
The only thing is, it's like GeoCities. You're going to have to create it from scratch HTML. But most of us guys who grew up in the '80s and had PCs in the '90s and did GeoCities, we learned a bare minimum, if not a little bit of HTML, enough to create a simple web page design.
I haven't done much with HTML at all, so I'd have to really look at it. But it wouldn't be something too hard, I guess.
What's interesting though is now these kids that are over there on NeoCities, and I say kids, I mean kids from 15 to 20 somethings and years old. They're all into retro web design. A lot of them, and a lot of them will put up sites on NeoCities, pretty much tutorials on how to do HTML, JavaScripting, and stuff like that.
That sounds good.
And just go over there and kind of look around. It's an interesting little world, I can tell you that. I got kind of, it's like a rabbit hole. If you don't be careful, you'll end up falling down it, and it'll just. You go forever on it sometimes, but I've had a good time over there.
I understand the rabbit holes. I've been down many and gotten lost in many of a little rabbit hole. So yeah, it happened. But yeah, that sounds great. I might try. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, but
now are there still some holdout papercraft type communities out there?
Well, there's a few sites around that I've looked at. There was a fellow, I think you're aware of him. I think Carl. There was a guy. What was his name? Phil, who did action figure theater. Now he actually put something up here recently, a new action figure theater comic, and he did a site called Action Figure Theater Downloads, AFT Downloads, where you could download the sets that he was using in his photography when he made those web comics.
Yes. I'm familiar with that site. There's several other sites I remember. I've got them saved on my computer here, but they have varying degrees of there's free paper toys. That site has a weird ss42.com/toys. See if that site even still works.
Well, something that I've found in the past with paper crafting is part of the fun of paper crafting is figuring out how to put the paper craft together without instructions, because nobody ever gives you instructions with the paper crafts.
I try to, but yeah, I agree. There was my wife years ago. She loved Stargate, and for one of her gifts I was going to give her, I found this guy. He created one of the Death Gliders off of Stargate as a little paper model. I was like, oh, I can build that and put it together for her. It was a glue together model. First off, I hate glue. It gets all over me. It gets in my hair. It gets everywhere and everything. I mean, I can just pull out and glue one little thing. Next thing I know, I'm covered in glue. So it just doesn't work. But his his glue tabs were like half an inch wide, and the place that he needed to glue to wasn't even that wide. So it was just weird in his construction, and he gave no instructions on it. I mean, if he had just said good luck, he'd given more instructions than he gave. But there were just some that were just very, very odd. There's other websites too. There's papertoys.com. That's a site I've visited for a long time. He's changed his site up, and it's very, very basic. You print out one sheet of paper most of the time, and you've got your model right there. There's a few that take 2 or 3 models. He hasn't updated.
Now, is there a
in
particular
years.
type or grade of paper that you recommend when you're printing those out to get better results?
I use 110-pound cardstock. That's what I stand by it. It does pretty well. You can't get very many colors in 110-pound cardstock right off the shelf. It's either a gray or a light gray or white. But I've had I've done a few things with a 65-pound cardstock. You can get multiple colors with that. It's a lot thinner. You can't do a lot of big construction with it, but if you want to try to do something that has different colors, that'll work too. But most of the time,
Now, do you go to like a Staples or Office Supply? Where do you find that kind of paper these days?
Yes.
You can buy standard cardstock at Walmart.
Right. Now, the last time I went to Walmart and got there, what they said was 110-pound cardstock. It was falling in at about 80 pounds on the thickness level. So I was like, I'm not sure where they got this. But it would work nicely for most of the stuff that people do. And a lot of reviews of it said it was great. But for what I do, when I'm having to build something that has a structure to it, it wouldn't hold together very well. So
for walls, I have cheated and gone to Walmart and bought it usually comes in a spiral bound notebook, and you have to cut the pages out of it. But it's a drawing pad or a sketch pad that has thick sheets in it, so you can actually paint on it if you wanted to. And I found that'll run through the printer just fine. It's a little thicker than normal, but it makes great walls that'll stand up to time.
That sounds about right.
Goji says that Amazon's a good place to find some quality paper as well.
Yes, I've gotten some.
Yes, Blue Sasquatch. We are absolutely live, sir. Matter of fact, let me put my live banner so you'll know that I'm actually live there, sir. There, I'm live.
Now, Mike, have you ever messed with any of this paper craft stuff, or did you do any of those paper cutout books when you were younger?
I probably did. I don't remember though. But I do a lot of the.
I remember that was kind of a big stocking stuffer as a kid for me. Was my folks would get those paper craft books, whether it was Star Wars or whatever was popular that year.
Yeah, that was the 70s and 80s. I think were the heyday of it. When Gojatron said he got cardstock off of Amazon, I remembered I got some blue heavyweight cardstock for a particular paper model I'm planning to build. And if you know what is blue, mostly blue, you'll get an idea of what I'm planning to try to do. So
interesting.
Though I've got one up here already, I want to build one that's a little different. So I'll try to use that to build my own little paper model. And if you
I've been
really
Oh, go ahead.
If you really are wondering, well, what is he making that's blue? Hold on. Yeah. So
nice.
Okay.
So yeah, and
finding that right shade of TARDIS blue can be a challenge.
Right. So that one has multiple shades and stuff. So, and not too long, I put this up on Instagram. I actually took like the head of Jedi Luke and the body of Hoth Luke and 4-LOM. He was called 4-LOM back when I was growing up. That's his coat. And that was my Doctor figure right there as I played with him with my little cardboard TARDIS and stuff. And I made some changes on this guy. Like I got one of the Indiana Jones hats for him. And I used the little tool that 41B has. That's the sonic screwdriver. That's that little tool that 41B came with, or 21B. I'm sorry, the medical droid.
Medical droid, right?
Yeah. So I played Doctor Who with my Star Wars figures more than anything else. So
yeah, I have to make do with what you got. But
yeah.
Let me pull that up big here, Bill. That is the arcade version of the Star Wars game.
It is. It's a sit down cabinet. That was one of the hardest ones that I had to build. There was no instructions with it. It came on several sheets of paper that you had to print out. I printed it out on cardstock, and then you had to figure out where to do your score lines because this right here was just a solid black piece that was on there, and you had to measure your score lines. There were no instructions.
Turned out nice though.
Yeah, that looks really good. Did you use I guess you glued it together, right?
I did. I glued it together. It's not one of those kind that just tabs together, but you pretty much had to figure out how to do everything, including how to score this little piece here so that it came out square to put it in there. A lot of this is double paper, so you print one side and cut it out, and then glue it to the other side and then cut it out.
That works.
But it was a tough little model to build, and I actually made a lot of mistakes and built about 2 or 3 of them before I made one that looked halfway decent. But it's about what 3 3/4 size. So I got a 3 3/4 TIE Fighter pilot sitting in there playing it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the size.
I've got a back here in the back on a shelf, and it's in disarray now. But I have an entire paper arcade back there with pinball machines, stand-up cabinets, and everything, including a wall in the back that I built strictly from papercraft. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done with it. You just gotta go out there and find it. This stuff, this particular model here, I had a hell of a time finding the pattern for it, and I think I ended up finding it on what do you call them, a message board. The guy had posted it on a message board. I don't even know if that message board exists anymore. But there used to be a guy, and I think the site's still there. On DeviantArt, there was a guy that made a paper arcade, and he put some cabinets up. And I've got some cabinets on my DeviantArt page of some of the cabinets that I made. I made a Wizard of War cabinet, a couple of others. I've got a pole position game back here. Let me see if I can get to it.
Yeah, some of those are really neat. I've been working on some display pieces that are papercraft that I found from a Japanese vendor. They're just street scenes, and they're printed out on a thin cardstock. I'm thinking about gluing them to maybe something a little thicker to give it some support. Maybe some foam core or something. You ever mess with foam core when you're doing projects, or is that a little too unwieldy?
A little bit of that makes great walls if you need something a little more sturdy than just cardboard itself.
Right.
Where I used to work, I had to make signs and stuff, and foam board was pretty much what I would cut to make the shapes and everything. And I would sometimes, when I got through with that, there was a bunch of scraps left over. I just built something. So
yeah.
All right, I got it finally. This is a pole position cabinet.
Oh.
And you got the steering wheel in here, and I think I can turn it. Yeah, it turns. And there's the joystick is right here. And what I used for the joystick was what they call it's
Like
it's
a map
needle.
pin?
Yeah, it's a map
Oh, okay.
pin basically. Yeah.
Oh.
And I used one right there in the middle of the steering wheel to hold the steering wheel down. And there was another site, and I don't know if it's still around or not either, where you could actually make papercraft stools to go with your video games.
Cool.
That's nice. I just kicked my trash can.
But yeah, like I said, looking around, there's a lot of sites out there. You just got to go looking for. I used to just get on the now this was back in the days when you could actually find stuff on Google instead of the stuff that they wanted you to find.
Yeah, agreed.
You could go in and type in Papercraft Arcade, and you'd get all kinds of sites with all kinds of cool arcade cabinets that you could download and print out and make your paper arcade stuff with that. But Google's gotten to the point now to where it's mainly just they're steering you where they want you to go, not anything that you actually want.
Agreed.
Well, that's a good point, Bill. Are there any other alternative search engines that are better that are still out there?
Well, there used to be. Well, it's still around, DuckDuckGo, but the problem with that is we found out that they're just as bad as Google.
You know, a lot of the companies now, in order just to that they sell their search type stuff, so they'll they're making money on it, so they'll do that.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And
yep.
And then
we had a
the other thing,
cat in the stream there.
Yeah. Did Mike take himself off the screen, or did we take him off?
I just took him off because he stepped away. I'll add him in when he comes back. There he is.
Yeah,
there you go.
I had some figures fall over.
Your cat was keeping us entertained there.
I see that.
Sitting there looking at the screen.
Yeah, I've got
what's
one
going
of those that entertains the hell out of me all the time. He's not generally allowed down here unless I'm down here. And as soon as I come down here, he brings his ass down here and gets into shit. But I don't know where he's at right now. And that's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've got 3 doggos that love to come in here in the toy room, and then I have their dog hair plus dust to deal with, so I try to shoo them out.
Bjorn asked if Bing is still around. Yeah, Bing is Microsoft's answer to Google, and it's the same thing, just a bunch of ads and bullshit. And that's the thing. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but here about around August this year, I was going to get OBS, which I'm using right now, and I was in a hurry one Sunday morning, and I was going to do it right before I went live. So I hopped over to Google, put in OBS download, and hit the first link that came up, and it was a damn ad, a piece of malware that installed malware on my computer and signed me up for Google Ads and put a Google ad on there and charged me over $600.
Good grief!
Wow,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was.
They make it look like a legitimate download, but it's not the real deal.
Sasquatch, I appreciate you downloading to me, man. Check it out, guys. Blue Sasquatch just downloaded to the channel. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you doing that. Please like and hit the notification bell, and we appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
always great to get a new subscriber. I'm getting about getting real close to getting my 1,000. I've got to get another 500 or so, maybe 425. I'm about 25 away from 600, so I think I've done quite well. And I've been on YouTube a while, but I hadn't really been trying since about spring of this year. So I've done quite well in this short period of time.
Well, I'm only at 65 subscribers.
Well, listen, people. If you're watching my show and it says I've got 11 people watching me, bless your hearts. Of you 11 people, if you're not subscribed to A World Made of Cardboard, I'm going to say it right here. You're wrong. So you better
Thanks. I didn't.
run out there and subscribe to A World Made of Cardboard, because he's got some cool stuff on there. He's got some modular play sets of an alien world, of a command center and things like that you can download and put together to make little places for your action figures to live and play.
Well, thanks, Bill. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna when you come on my channel, you're gonna get plugged, my friend. As a matter of fact, Bjorn, I see you down there. You go out there, you get A World Made of Cardboard's YouTube channel, and you post the link in here so people can run over there and subscribe to him.
Yeah, because that's one of those things.
Bjorn is doing a bit of blackmail.
Bjorn
is doing a bit of blackmail there in the chat. He says, everyone subscribe to everyone on screen right now, or I bring out the tiger.
Oh, wow. The tiger. Yes. I remember the tiger.
The infamous majestic tiger.
It's a majestic thing. It is a very majestic thing.
Yeah, I remember I had to show my wife that stream where he introduced us to the tiger, and she was like, "You're kidding, right?" Nope, that's what they did.
It's a real thing. I saw one at Walmart the other day. I think I was doing a toy hunt, and I flashed it on the screen real quick. Thank you, Bjorn. I appreciate you doing that for Carl. So I want everybody to run out there and subscribe right now to A World Made of Cardboard.
Oh, well, thank you, Bjorn.
And Michael Purvis, do you have a channel yet, or are you still working on it, or are you just kind of playing around?
I'm kind of still playing around with mine. I've got one, but I'm just still playing around with it.
Well, if you can find it, Bjorn, you run out there and post his link too. We'll get him started. Yeah, Gojatron, that damn tiger.
Well, the great thing about what World Made of Cardboard offers is if you collect figures, having a play environment to put them in really enhances display and just enjoying and playing with your figures.
Well, that brings up a pretty good point there, Largo, that I've been meaning to ask some of the other collectors, and now that I have some experts here on the panel, how do we play with our figures? There's several different play patterns that adults have for figures. One of them is the collecting play pattern, where you basically just collect.
Right.
Then there's the play pattern where you display. I think you do that a lot, Largo, where you make a shelf and you put your figures on the shelf and you display them. That is a play pattern, a legitimate play pattern. Action figure photography or making videos with your action figures is another play pattern. I tend to do that. But do we actually, as adults, play with our figures? I will go first, and I will make a confession. Yes, I do play with my figures. I actually get them out, pose them. Sometimes I make them talk to one another. My wife thinks I'm an absolute fool for doing such things. Hey, Wilhelm, good to see you.
All right. Hey, Wilhelm.
And Bjorn says that he does. Panel, do you guys play with your toys? We'll start with Largo, and we'll move around.
Well, I do. Especially when I'm picking up new guys from Action Force and creating customs. When I'm finding a head or something, I want to try to create a new character. I'm playing with the head canon. It's like, who is this guy? How does he fit into what I'm doing? And just kind of create an idea for a character. So that's kind of my version of play is, looking at pieces and parts and trying to figure out how to make somebody and how they fit into the storyline. So, I have a lot of fun doing posing them up, coming up with new ideas for characters, and then doing some toy photography to go with it. So that's kind of my play pattern.
Okay. Well, let's go to World Made of Cardboard here. We'll bring him out to full screen and give him a shot at it.
All right.
Do you play with your toys?
Yes. I will. What usually I'm doing, I'll sit here like with this guy or with whatever I have, and I'll transform it or be playing with it and stuff. Like my daughters have caught me flying little flying transformers around my desk here and stuff. Doing stuff like that. And for most part, when I look at them, I'm looking at them kind of for inspiration as to what I'm doing. I got a bunch of the little inner pretender robots from Transformers not too long ago, and I was playing with them, and basically to look. Yes, I do make a laser sounds. Mine are more like the sounds, but yeah, and it's something to just kind of think of how it all works, how things fold together, how they link together, what they do. If you think about it, and I told one of Tony's videos, or I don't know, it's on his Patreon, I think, or something. I posted a comment that was, yes, that's Quick Switch. I got him for Christmas. My youngest daughter got a Nintendo Switch. My oldest daughter got a third monitor for her computer. My wife got a K9. She just hollered out, and a Android tablet. This is all I got. So, but yeah, toys are how we first as a kid were how we were first introduced to the world. How we figured out how things work, what they do. It put our world in order. It put things in strength. You probably had your first experience with gravity playing with a toy. You picked it up and you dropped it and looked down and your parent went, uh-oh. Yeah, you had that experience. You learned how it helps you put things in perspective. That's what playing does. It gets your mind out of what's going on and orders things for you. So yeah, I play. I play a lot.
Okay.
In fact, when I'm doing stuff with my little paper models, I'm sitting there playing with them and everything. I've flown this X-Wing fighter around numerous times and stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll bring Michael Purvis in, and Michael Purvis has got quite a toy collection. Do you play with your toys?
On and off I do, but most of the time I just set everything up and I'll change stuff around as you've seen.
So your basic play pattern is the display play pattern where you display your figures and you put them in various poses. And do you make dioramas for them to live in or anything like that?
I want to try to do that, but I haven't got to the point yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's bring Wilhelm up here. Wilhelm, Mr. Will McLaughlin, do you play with your toys? You have quite a collection as well.
Absolutely not. I do not play with my toys. I seal them in a vacuum chamber. And no, of course I do. Hell yeah, I play with my toys. And then that big brown shark came. Laser sharks, man. Come on. Of course.
We got to have some laser sharks. Laser sharks will make things worthwhile, huh? All right. So,
and I do make pew, 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 pew sounds. Yes.
So, one of the things that I like to do is I like to think up storylines for my toys to have. And sometimes I make videos using those storylines with my toys. Do you guys find yourselves doing such things at times?
Yes. It's like I told you just a little while ago with Quick Switch and Six Shot all the time. All
right.
Michael's come back. Did you go find something for us to look at there, Michael?
No, I had to go put a pizza in.
Oh, okay. Got to keep our priorities straight. Food.
Oh yeah.
Food. Go to the bathroom.
That's
things
it.
like that. All important things. But we were talking about making up storylines for our toys. I do that constantly. I'll make up some kind of a storyline or something, and I'll make a display of that storyline, or sometimes even a video of the storyline. And OBS says she wants a laser beam on her forehead.
Okay.
And sharks with lasers, yes. I'm wearing my Resurrection Toys T-shirt today, and I have it on good authority that we're going to have some laser sharks here one of these days. And when we do, I'm going to get me a hell of a lot of laser sharks.
To give you an idea of how I think when I saw the Final Faction toy line, and I mean, I've got a whole bunch of the toys and everything. I see if we can get, there she is. I came up with an entire story separate from what they do on their YouTube channel and everything, and just sitting there daydreaming about it, just like I was as a kid, because I felt like a kid when I was buying these things. And to give you an idea of what I've been working on for my paper model stuff this past week, I've had the week off. This is just part one. It's not a tub. It is going to be the cockpit for something. It'll be a vehicle when done. Still working on the vehicle.
Awesome.
I'm
Will this vehicle be land-based, water-based?
I'm looking at flying right now.
Yes.
I'm looking at a flying vehicle.
Nice. Nice.
I'm on revision 12 right now. And there are also 3 honorable mentions, I guess you could say. I worked on those. I was like, nah, I don't like that. Then I'd pull something up and start playing with it some more, coming up with a design, and I'm getting closer. But I'm still coming up with. The big problem is I don't want to make it so big or so complicated that it takes dozens of sheets of cardstock to make it, and that's the problem. It's either going to be too small to be useful for anything, or it will be really complicated. So I'm trying to draw a little line in there and find that.
Will you be showing this off on your YouTube channel on how to create this?
Yes, I will. Yes,
absolutely.
I will.
I cannot wait. I'll be the first one to download it.
I was hoping that it would be out. I would have it finished by now, but I would be drawing it up and everything. I was like, oh, that's not going to work because of something I wanted to do later. I'm trying to think of, it's an engineering feat, because every now and then you're coming along with it like, that isn't going to work because of this little problem. And so,
speaking of engineering feat, I mean, can we just give a shout out to those guys over there for putting this thing together? That is an engineering feat too, right? The Arrow ATV for $1.25. I mean, well, it's $2.50 once you add the accessory pack, but just the engineering that went into that to make it cost effective. I mean, just brilliant. And I'm sure whatever you do, it's going to complement the line perfectly and be awesome.
I guess that's one
thing. Speaking of cost-effective toys, Will, I know that you're great at finding these dollar store fine toys. Have you looked at some of those toys that they have over in the cheap part at Walmart that are in those little? I forget what the brand name of them are, but you got like Jurassic Park knockoffs. You've got
Kid Connections.
Yeah,
Kid Connections. That's it.
The vehicles are appealing. They look good, but they're like 2-dimensional. When you look at the trucks, they're like really narrow. So like if you bought 2 of them and cut them down the middle and like glued them together, they'd be as wide as a normal size truck.
Right.
So it's kind of like they have like a military set, but it's like literally when you look at it on its side, it's like it's a deceptive practice.
Right.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? Will? Do you remember in the back of comic books for $1.05, you could send off and you could get a Foot Locker full of toy soldiers, and it came with tanks, ships, and trucks, and they had this huge picture that someone had drawn of all these things out there. And as a child, you would see this and you go, "Oh man, look at all this stuff for $1.25." But what happened when you sent your $1.25 out? You got this tiny little box like this right here, and everything in it was flat. The trucks were flat,
2D
figures were flat.
Yeah, this
and
I'll
here
show you.
comes Mrs. Weird Fantastic Toys. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get in here because I have this setup here. There she is. Say hello to everybody. We're live. We're on the air.
Paula. Hey, how are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey. I see everybody.
Yeah. Of course, you know Largo. You know Largo over here. He's my normal co-host. We've got Will McLaughlin of Wilhelm Toy and Hobby here.
Yep.
And over here we have Carl from World Made of Cardboard.
John.
And then John. Excuse me, John. John from World Made of Cardboard. And down here is Michael Purvis of Manic Plastic Toy Shop.
What are y'all discussing today?
Well, we're talking about whether we actually play with our toys or not.
I do.
That we actually do play with our toys.
Yeah, we were asking Bill for relationship advice.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, guys. I've got one that I wouldn't trade for the world, and I made out good. Hey, Paul, would you go get the latest little thing that came in the mail so we can show it off?
Yeah. I'll go get it.
I got something in the mail. A very good friend of mine from over at AOM TV called I Like Salt. We actually called him Sir I Like Salt because he is a hero knight. We were playing a little game over there with JPR, and it was a spin the wheel game. And if you won, then he would send you an AOM TV teddy bear. And of course, the game seemed to be rigged because nobody was winning. And I got my chance to spin the wheel, and of course, I lost it. And Sir I Like Salt gave a $30 tip donation to JPR
Well,
and said,
we're plugging AOM. I got my Christmas gift here.
Hey, it came.
Very
Look
cool.
at that, an AOM t-shirt. As a matter of fact, my bear is wearing that AOM t-shirt. Paula has gone to go get the bear now because as soon as I pulled the bear out of the box, Paula grabbed the bear and said, "Mine." And so
Don't tell him.
here's our AOM teddy that was courtesy of JPR and Sir I Like Salt. And Sir I Like Salt, if you're watching, thank you so very much.
Very cool.
Oh
Paula
man,
has taken
that's
the teddy bear
it's really
on her side
adorable.
of the head and is now hers. But yes,
We had a
I think you can
mascot
see
bear.
it's a surrounded board.
Oh,
Huh?
go ahead.
What's that, Will?
No, I see.
What was you? Go ahead, Will.
No, just the supermarket chain where I grew up had a mascot bear. It was ShopRite, and his name was Scrunchy, and he was a little bear wearing a ShopRite T-shirt. And I love that little critter. And you know what happened? Down here in Florida, we don't have any of the same supermarket chains that we have up north. So in 2020, I took a trip back to my hometown to visit my brother and some other people that still hang around there. And I went to ShopRite. I was going to get myself either a ShopRite T-shirt or Scrunchy the Bear because they used to just be there at the supermarket, at the checkout. I had dozens of them when I was a kid because it was a cheap bear, it'd fall apart. They killed them. No, they didn't kill them. They just dropped them. They don't use them anymore. And I kind of did like I had to pour some out for my homie because he was gone. He was just they just like he never existed. I kept asking people, I'm like, you know this guy, right? Scrunchy the Bear, right? The value savings. And nope, no one knew about him.
Don't know him at all. Sounds like he's cool though.
Yeah. Oh, he
And
was the
Trev
best.
Jones
Well,
says,
Will,
"Hey,
that
Bill,
brings
why
up
you
kind of
don't
an
know name?"
interesting point for a category. There's a lot of mascots, whether it be for cereal or toy or whatnot. We used to have a whole bunch of those back in the 70s and 80s that were real popular, and they've even made some figures of some of them. Jada Toys just recently did Count Chocula and Frankenberry from the General Mills monster cereals. I think Boo Berry is going to come out next year. As much as I'm not a Funko Pop fan, they did a series of like Twinkie the Kid and some of the other Hostess mascots that they had for a while.
Twinkie the Kid.
I remember one that was a favorite when I was a kid was the Shoney's Big Boy. And then they went to the Shoney Bear, but you guys remember Bob's Big Boy, the red and white checker?
Matter of fact, I think Shoney's actually
there's a lot of those mascots that used to be popular.
And I need to tell Trapjaw here that what my wife's name is, and it's no secret, and it's been told on this show before. I meant to say her name is Paula. I just put her Paula. Forgot the word name. But anyway, yeah, her name is Paula. And if you watch my channel enough, she shows up enough that most of the people here already know her name. But so her name's Paula, and Bjorn said somebody didn't know your name. I was calling your name. And Bjorn Jorgensen says finally some class here. Okay. Yeah, and we were talking about playing with toys.
That's
and
right.
The consensus
We
is
just
that
call because we
do.
know who wears the pants in that family.
Yeah, that'd be me. Anyway, Melvor says the Kid Connection vehicles have a lot of potential for customizers. They do, and as a matter of fact, one of the things that I did here a long time ago, and it's still down there in the closet that's got my superpowers. There was a Kid Connection set that had like 2 sharks in it and some divers. And I bought that set because it had this big giant shark, and you could open and close his mouth. And when you open his mouth up, there was a cavity in there that you could actually put a figure into, like he ate him. And I got that so that Aquaman could have a giant white shark to fight.
Yeah. Wow. Bill.
I've seen them in Walmart sets of their play sets that they're flat, but they're hinged to where they'll open up and make a larger play set. They had one that had a little bitty, had a 3 3/4 inch size dinosaur and 2 little human figures. It looked like the old Chap May stuff, but the play set would open up, and I was like, that's how you do a play set right there. Something that is very simple, very inexpensive, that you can just open up, and when you're done with it, fold it up. You can put it on under the bed, in the toy box, wherever, and it doesn't take up a lot of room. I've always liked that kind of thought, and that's, I've always, everybody's talking about Hasbro and their plastic-free packaging and all this kind of stuff. I say go the other way. Go ahead and make the whole package something you definitely want to keep as a plastic thing,
That's a wonderful idea, and I think that the Grindhead Jim is working on that with some of the new creations that Resurrection Toys is going to be coming out with here in the upcoming year, where the packaging itself is going to become like a diorama.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
And as you can hear, we're getting ready to feed our ducks here. Guys,
all right.
I think that we have come up with something to talk about on Sunday as well. What packaging could we do, and how we could make dioramas for our figures, and how some of our play patterns work out when it comes to that. That sounds like a good plan for Sunday. What do you think, Largo? Largo, what do you think about that idea? Yeah, he's not paying any attention. Look, I'll tell you what, we're gonna keep this discussion going if we can. I would love to have all of you guys come in here on Sunday. It's going to be usually at 12 noon Central Time. We have a little Sunday hangout here, and we generally talk about just about anything we want to. And if you guys want to talk about building models and dioramas and what future packaging should look like now that we're going with this plastic free, let's continue this discussion on Sunday. And World Made of Cardboard, glad you showed up, sir.
Yeah.
Michael Purvis, I
Very
want to
cool.
see you again and get you starting streaming, man, because this is lots of fun. And
I do have
Wilhelm,
something.
sir.
I do have something I was gonna tell you about. I'm gonna paint this. I'm gonna paint this guy to look like this one.
Hey, that I would like to see. That sounds like something that would be cool.
And those capes are horrible.
Oh, they are. Cape Master is going to be your friend. If you know who the Cape Master is,
Well, I
he's
got a
the
couple.
man. There you go. And Wilhelm Toy and Hobby, good to have you in today, sir. Always a pleasure to have you on, and love to hear about the things that you're up to. And if you guys want to stick around for a little bit after the show ends, we can all chat together. And everybody out there that's watching, thank you so much for being here. And remember, together we shall triumph, and we'll see you all next time. Special thanks to these supporters on Patreon. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like and subscribe and share the video.